Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Matt's Mind. That's right, baby. 3 weeks in a row, we consistent. Matt's Mind is a Q&A series here on the channel every single Wednesday. If you guys have a question you'd like me to answer here on the video, all you gotta do is comment your question down below in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, now for those of you who are subscribed, I love you guys. For those of you who aren't subscribed, you suck, but you can unsuck if you subscribe. You feel me? Jumping right out in here, the first question of the day is from BrickBoyBuilder18. What minifigs would you want in the UCS Republic Gunship? And what's a set that wouldn't be made that you would want? Great vid, Matt. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Now, I actually plan on making a separate video about what my ideal UCS Gunship would be. But as far as a general overview and I think in terms of minifigures, I definitely like a brand new printed Phase 1 or Phase 2 pilot. Obviously, I'm not sure what route Lego is going. I think I remember them saying something about episode 2, so most likely we'll be getting a Phase 1 version of it. So a brand new custom, at least a two-sided front and back Phase 1 pilot would be cool. I'd also really want an exclusive either Anakin or Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 2 minifigure. I don't think we'd get both in the same set, so I definitely feel comfortable for asking for those. And as far as other named sets, I mean, I guess we could maybe try and get a Phase 1 Commander Cody, which would be cool, or a Phase 2 Captain Rex. But since Lego did say, I believe they're looking at episode 2 for reference images and inspiration, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Cody and a Yoda, or maybe even a Mace Windu, so who knows. But as far as what my ideal minifigures would be, it definitely have to be exclusive pilot, exclusive Obi-Wan or Anakin, and then hopefully a cool named clone trooper that would be maybe not exclusive, but maybe not necessarily an easy to find figure. And for the second part of your question, what set that wouldn't be made that I want to be made? My opinion, I don't think Lego would make a UCS AT-AT or UCS ATM6, but I have to choose one. I definitely say a Venator. I don't know if Lego would or wouldn't do it, but it's just the set that I want the most at the moment, so there's that. Next question here from Daniel Rose. Would you rather be Lego's CEO or gain 10 million subscribers in the space of a year? I definitely go with 10 million subscribers. If I was a CEO of any company, there's an incredible standard that I'm being held to. There's a lot of eyes watching me the entire time. I'd be busy running from boring meetings to meetings. I think having 10 million on YouTube would be an incredible thing. Now, obviously, I'd be able to sustain myself whenever I do actually create content if I had 10 million subscribers. So that would be cool. I definitely take the subs over the CEO. Although a CEO Lego discount would probably be 100% free. That's a tough one. Now, this isn't really a question, but just a really cool thought from Will. Can you even imagine the part collection room in the Lego Star Wars Cloud House? If you guys didn't watch last week's episode, I'll leave it down below in the description. I basically talked about my own dream Cloud House content creation house. I had Jay in there, I had David, I had Chris, I had Anthony. And between all 5 of us large mock builders, there would be millions of pieces in that collection. That's just a crazy thing to think about. I'm not sure if a Lego content Cloud House is a feasible thing. I just don't know at this point in my life. Maybe sometime down the road, we'll see. Next question here comes from Chris Evans. Hi, what movie death was the most touching for you? For me, it was probably Tony Stark. I'm gonna have to be real with you right there. Tony Stark's, spoiler alert, Tony Stark's death in Endgame was traumatic, borderline traumatic. It was, me personally, I was bawling in the theater. I think every other person was as well. I'm trying to think of any other movies that have had a significant loss with it. I know that with any movie of a military individual, someone who serves in the military, anything like that, I always, get absolutely crushed by that. So I guess the most impactful, emotional on-screen death I've seen in film is probably gonna be Tony Stark. Next question here comes from BLS Bricks. Who is my favorite YouTuber on the platform? That's a question I honestly cannot answer. I don't think of whoever I'm subscribed to as, okay, this is number 1, this is number 2. To me, it's just a list of people, of content that I enjoy to watch. So I honestly don't even know the true answer to that question. Among my top YouTubers that I consume, the Lego community, obviously I watch Jay's updates, I watch David's updates, I like JB Brick, he's cool, I think he's a brand new up-and-comer. Honestly, now that I think about it, I probably don't spend that much time watching YouTube, which is kind of weird because you'd think that I'm so invested in everything. I have this brand new camera, I have all these lights. You think I'd be so invested in it that I watch it all the time when honestly I just don't. Next question here from Master Builder 42. What happened to Endor? Just curious. Would love to see it. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never what's an Endor. Next question here, Speak of the Devil, comes from JB himself. Here's a question: if LEGO somehow banned you from buying LEGO Star Wars sets and making Star Wars MOCs, would you continue LEGO other themes or would you just stop? That's a great question. If the LEGO license didn't exist, if for some reason, by some miracle, I was not able to, by some phenomenon, I wasn't able to buy LEGO Star Wars sets, my investment in LEGO in terms of actual physical money and in terms of like me into LEGO as like a passion, it would most likely dwindle down. I mean, I still collect things like LEGO ideas, like the modulars, but as far as like custom MOCs, the only other theme I might dive into would be military. I've always been a pretty big military buff, low key. If Star Wars wasn't a thing, I'd probably just end up doing military stuff, but as far as like official licensed themes from LEGO, I'd probably stop building. I'm just not particularly inspired to build LEGO City or LEGO Ninjago or anything like that. For me, it's really just Star Wars is the only thing that I want to build. Next question here comes from Patrick Ralston. Matt, if you had to give up / donate a set in your collection, which would it be? I mean, if I had to, like, it depends. If I had to, if like someone was like, hey, give me a LEGO set, like I'll probably give them a battle pack or something like that. But if I was going to like a really cool charity or something like that, like a toy drive, I'd like to give something as cool as I could. I mean, I do have a ski speeder, the crate ski speeder set sealed. I'd probably give that away to someone who wanted it. I think that'd be a pretty cool set. But I guess one thing, if someone's forcing me to give this to them, I'll be like, all right, bro, here's a poly bag, like, go away. But if it's for a charity, if it's for a good cause, I'll definitely go above and beyond and try and, you know, go 110%. What's your video editing software? Keep up the great work. Thank you, Bob. My video editing software is Adobe Premiere Pro. I've been using this program for probably about a year and a half now. It's a really good program. Obviously, the big debate is between like Adobe Premiere Pro, Sony Vegas, and Final Cut. I think they're all kind of the same. I never experienced either of the other two except Adobe Premiere. For me, I've been using it for so long that Adobe Premiere is just like second nature. I know what I'm doing. I can pump out a video in a really fast time. I'm super comfortable with it. I have all my presets in it. So I've been a huge fan of Adobe's programs. I've been using Photoshop and Lightroom now. I'm trying to learn After Effects. So Adobe's my main source of editing. Do you ever get tired of building Star Wars MOCs? And if so, is there another theme you'd like to build a MOC based upon? So this is sort of like JB's question. So I already answered like what would I build other than Star Wars, but to get to the main question of do you get tired of building Star Wars MOCs? Absolutely. I think there's every single series I have here on the channel, whether it was Crate, whether it was Kessel, whether it's an Axis, there's always a 2, 3, 4 week just break. I think in an Axis it was between like the end of November and end of December where I think I took a break. With Kessel, there was like a 3-week break. At a certain point for me, with all the things I'm juggling outside of YouTube and content, it does get very, very frustrating sometimes. I'll be entirely honest. I don't think many people realize like the true reality of building these big MOCs. Like, you will work for hours and hours to spend hundreds of dollars, and in reality, you're only getting done like 1/8 of the build. So it is discouraging at times. There are times where I just don't want to build, where I just want to relax, watch TV, watch a movie, play some video games, just do kid stuff. But absolutely, there are definitely times where I am just beat. I'm done with building, and that has happened a ton. I try not to let that happen now because I do get super I guess the word is uninspired, I guess is the right word, but it usually comes in waves. So like, I'll be really, really inspired. If you guys remember when I was building like the road and the barracks, I was like peaking, and then it kind of and then it came back up again. And right now we're at like the last like 4th or last quarter of the Axis series, and I'm kind of like almost at the top. So we're getting back up there. The top's gonna be the finale, and then I'll be taking a break for a little bit between the next MOC. But yes, absolutely, I do get tired of building at some points, but I do continue and remember that I'm building it for much more than me. There are people who have invested their time, invested their views, invested their own money into my build, so I do try to keep that as a constant reminder and a enforcer to keep me going. Next question here comes from Mike and Ike Productions. Do you plan on buying the UCS Republic Gunship even though you didn't vote for it? Now, I did actually say this in the video. Yes, I will be buying this set. I said in the video, no matter what it was, the Nebulon, the Republic Gunship, or the Bomber, I would have bought either of them, or either 3 of them. Even though the Republic Gunship wasn't my #1 choice, I still think LEGO's gonna make something cool, whether that means it's minifigure scale, not minifigure scale, however many minifigures it comes with. I still think it's gonna be a really cool, beautiful set. So regardless, yes, I will have it on hand at some point. Next question here comes from TGB Kid. What is your dream UCS LEGO Star Wars set? Mine is a Venator class Star Destroyer from Revenge of the Sith. So if you asked me a couple months ago, it was the Star Destroyer. Up until when I had the Imperial Star Destroyer, that was my dream UCS set. That was the one Holy Grail set that I wanted, that I needed, and that thankfully I have right now. Now, obviously, since I have that, what is like my next UCS stream set? I'm gonna have to actually agree with you. It's gonna have to be a Venator. I like a Venator that's scaled with the Star Destroyer. I think a Venator is smaller generally than a Star Destroyer, so I'd love for LEGO to make a UCS Venator that is scaled with the Star Destroyer. That's probably my dream UCS set right now. I think always the UCS Star Destroyer will be my favorite. I don't think anything's ever going to top that for me personally. And the last question for today, and probably the most juicy, and I honestly have had a thought of actually making a podcast and starting a podcast here on the channel to talk, like, dive deep into these topics, but I'll try to condense it into a minute here. Question from Joshua Weber is, now that we've had some time to digest the sequel trilogy, are you satisfied with it? What do you think they should have done differently? Overall, I think I enjoy the original trilogy more. I still do believe the sequels are eons above the prequels. I will say, like, so if the top is the best and the bottom is the worst, I've done a ranking video, but generally speaking, the top is original trilogy, then Rogue One, sequel trilogy, Solo, and then prequels. Now, I'm not just another random prequel hater. Like, I do have my gripes with it. I think the major failure of the prequels is the lack of ability to succeed in storytelling. I think the story itself, the concept in the prequels, is fantastic. It's super great. It's honestly, I'd say, better than the sequels. The whole story of the Chosen One being conflicted, having all these different epic battles, and just super crazy things going on. Like, I think that's a better idea than the sequels, but the execution, the script, the acting was just not up to par with the amazing story that they had. And then I think the sequel trilogy is, like, actually the opposite. It was kind of where the story wasn't really there, but it was still really good execution of that story that kind of made it still a little bit enjoyable. Overall, I do still like the sequels more than the prequels. I still think I enjoy the original trilogy more than the sequels, but I still enjoy both of those more than the prequels. Hopefully that's not confusing. I'm probably going to start making a podcast. I'll be honest, I've been wanting to dive into a podcast for a while, so maybe I'll start getting into that. But that's just like a brief answer to that question. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Drop a like down below. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe. Once again, if you aren't subscribed, you suck, but you can unsuck if you subscribe. See how it works? So if you guys have a comment or a question for next week's episode, comment it down below here on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe and drop a like to be featured in next week's episode. And until then, it's been your boy Matt, and we'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.